Are you feeling the effects of the caffeine?
I mean, yeah, my foot hasn't stopped shaking, so.
Well, good.
Sorry.
Let's talk about why to give it up.
Yeah.
So you're going to give up caffeine
Yes.
for 40 days starting tomorrow or
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. So questions. Why caffeine? Why did you choose this one?
Caffeine is one of those things that I consume every day. It's one of the constants in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I have been doing it for probably decades at this point. Maybe not. I don't know if I started drinking these when I was like 14, but yeah, it's been one of those things that it's just like, it's been a constant in my life. I have probably drank between 1 and 2 sugar-free Monsters. So at least I did that.
So that's good.
A day for God knows how long.
Okay.
And I think it would, looking at the list that you sent me, it felt like it would have been the most impactful one for me.
Okay.
Since I can't give up nicotine again.
Yeah.
Because I've already accomplished that one, not because I don't want to. And I can't do some of the other things that are just like, oh, I already drink a hell of a lot of water every day.
Yeah.
Because my wife loves me and wants me to, stick around.
Mm-hmm.
Drink water, people. It's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like it just felt like it would be the most impactful.
Yeah. So you said how many Monsters about?
Up to 2.
Up to 2. Okay.
A day.
Up a day. Any coffee? Is that?
No, I don't like coffee. Well, I mean, if I'm drinking coffee, it's one of those like, oh, you want a little treat from Starbucks, and it's like you're getting a coffee milkshake essentially.
Yeah.
It's
like,
but
500 calories in some of those drinks.
There's more than that in a lot of them.
It's insane.
But yeah, I mean, I'll try straight coffee every now and then, but if the worst I can do is make it an Americano and make it a half and half, it's got to be a shitload of cream, which then kind of puts it over the edge as to calorie count or things like that. But no, I don't like the taste of straight coffee.
Yeah. So with your current caffeine consumption, 1 to 2 sugar-free Monsters a day, do you have any, would you say, negative side effects from doing that?
I think a lot of the negative side effects are my sleeping, obviously. I went to the doctor probably, I don't know, 6 months ago, and they're like, you should stop doing these things at a certain time, either in your life or during your day, to lessen the impact for later in the day. So I stopped. I implemented myself just stopping any caffeine consumption, or at least large caffeine consumption. Like I'll still have a Coke with dinner every now and then if I'm out. But
yeah, to me that barely counts.
Yeah, that like Coke is like, it's a placebo effect of caffeine at that point because so much Monster caffeine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll stop drinking it these days around 2 is the latest that I'll consume a caffeinated beverage like that. And I think the sleep has improved since then, but it probably could get a lot better giving it up completely.
Yeah. Caffeine has a way of supercharging my anxiety. So like I said, when I had Zach on, he cut it out completely, and I went half. And even by going half, like what I did is I take a pre-workout that used to have caffeine. I switched to one that doesn't have caffeine. And for my second cup of coffee, I do half and half. I totally cut it in half. And even then I noticed a pretty noticeable difference in just worrying about things, and just being too buzzy up in my head. And there's a certain line that it's hard to tell when I cross it, but feeling like I need the caffeine to wake me up as a pick me up. But then when does it go to like, okay, now I'm up, but I'm worrying about everything. Which one's totally worse? Fair. Is it worse being tired, or is it worse worrying about everything? So that's cool. So with you giving it up starting tomorrow, are you going to wean or just cold turkey straight off?
So I was preparing for this, and preparing, very soft word right now, because I did a few Google searches. But a lot of them said, like, try not to do cold turkey. But I say, fuck that. I'm going to do cold turkey. Because I've tried the weaning off of it. I've tried, like, supplementing it with something else. I've tried that many times because I knew my consumption was too much. So I was like, I should do this, 1, for my health, 2, for my bank account. And it's not something that I think would work for me if I tried to wean it down, because I feel like it would just constantly be there. And if I have that option, then I'm not going to take it. So I'm gonna go cold turkey.
Okay. And I've found in my own life, but also other people talk, the classic is when you cut it out totally, headaches. I hear headaches happen.
Yes.
Do you have any plan on how to mitigate the headaches or combat the headaches if and when they come?
So they will come, because I've tried to do this before, and right around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock every single day, I got this splitting headache, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I'm going to try and start with just like over-the-counter stuff. Just like take a Tylenol or Advil preemptively, just knowing that, because usually it's not as bad of a headache as you think it is. And you're able to just kill it with just some basic medication.
Right.
I also have read about just consuming more water. I already drink probably upwards of 120 ounces a day, or at least I try to. I have a 40-ounce mug at home that I use.
Hell yeah.
So maybe refilling that a couple more times a day, because the hydration, and a lot of it is like your sodium levels are going to get thrown off because you're cutting this thing that was surprisingly high in sodium out of your diet, essentially. So probably just upping the water intake to make yourself feel better is a good option that I saw. And then probably just the over-counter stuff. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. I think you could do you ever play Edward 40 Hands?
Oh yeah.
You could just do that with like just jugs of water and just slug it. I would think too, in addition to water, there's a lot of like hydration stuff, like the liquid IVs.
Oh, I love liquid IVs.
I do too. I bought a similar product. The liquid IV just got a little expensive for me because they come in like the sticks, and it comes out to be like $1 a stick. So I got this.
Get them at Costco.
Yeah, I got this jug. It's called Ultima.
Okay.
It's pretty much the same shit. It's like 90 servings. I don't remember how much it was, like $30. Like I said, pretty much all the same stuff, and it comes in like a container rather than the individual sticks. So I feel like because I sauna every day, so I'm losing a lot of just whatever's in my body through sweat. So I replenish that. But I would imagine something like that, like a liquid IV, would help. I also, one of my buddies, Jamie, we were talking about giving up caffeine, and he drinks a type of, I think it's like a mushroom coffee that's caffeine free. I've heard about that. It's called like Everyday Dose or something like that. I had it in my Amazon cart. I forgot why I didn't pull the trigger on it. I think maybe I found something that was a little cheaper or whatever. But yeah, that might be something to consider. But yeah, I'm always curious about the headaches, because whenever if I'm sick and I don't end up drinking a cup of coffee, around that early afternoon, I start to.
That's where the real like 3 o'clock feeling comes from.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would imagine too. Well, I don't know if it would do anything for the headaches, but I found that like if I eat like a super like starchy carb heavy lunch, then I get super tired, and I'm gonna like combat it with the caffeine. But if I eat like lean meat and a decent amount of like fats for lunch, very little starchy carbs, then I don't get the same crash. It doesn't hit me as much. So
that's fair.
Could help. Good. In terms of the caffeine, anything that you had on your mind that you wanted to talk about, or apprehensions or anything?
I mean, the only thing I'm concerned about is the headaches. Because, like I said, I've done this before. I've tried to do this before, and failed because I was like, this is unbearable. And then I'd be like, okay, well, what about just like a couple of sips? And then it's just like any other addiction. You're like, okay, let me smoke one more cigarette just to get this feeling off my brain, and then you turn into a smooth brain and start consuming everything bad for you again. And I think that's my I almost said hugest, that's not a word, biggest concern.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just think about like my mood.
Yeah.
Because like I'm the type of person that's like, if you feel sick, you're not angry, but you're just like, stop talking to me. And I don't want to be short with people in my life because I love them.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'd say mood is the other big one.
Yeah, I can see that for myself too. In solidarity, I will dial back my caffeine even more. I'll do maybe a half cup and then another half cup. So bringing it down from like 4 servings of caffeine down to 1. That's between Zach and you.
Massive.
Yeah, but I just that first cup in the morning, I just love it.
Yeah,